To the citizens of Plaistow. My name is Buzzy Blinn. This is the Buzz Around Town show, and I'm very honored and lucky to have Michelle Auger, and she is the principal of the the Pollard School, and she had apparently started, last year on your career here. So I think what we're going to do is, right off, I'd like Michelle to kind of tell us a little about herself and how she became a principal, and how did you, end up at Pollard School?
Okay, I can do that, Buzzy. Thanks. Let's see, I started teaching at Danville Elementary School my first year teaching, and I then went from Danville to Hampstead Middle School. I taught 5th grade in Hampstead, went to 6th grade later on in my career, and probably the last, like in my 17th or 18th year in Hampstead, I became the computer teacher. And I started training and doing things with more adults. And I decided that I needed to get back with the kids and whatever. I started taking administration courses for some reason and loved it. Got a position at Merrimack at Thornton's Ferry as an assistant principal, and I did that for 4 years, and then now I'm here at Pollard.
Oh, and I guess from what I'm hearing, you were brought up locally too. You're from Hampstead.
I've been in Hampstead all but 1 year of my life.
So it's kind of like your roots up in New Hampshire here. And how do you like being a principal of Pollard School now that you've had a year under your belt?
Pollard School is awesome, and the kids are wonderful. The staff is wonderful. I absolutely love it. I couldn't imagine being in another place. I absolutely love it, and have had a great year so far.
Wow. So with all the work and times that you put in, you're now very, very happy that you're here at Pollard, and I think we're very happy to have you too, from what I understand. Of course, I passed the age of going to Pollard School, but I did graduate, I think I told you earlier, and we're very proud of that school. It's been a landmark, and everything is where Plaistow came from. So we're very glad to have you. I'm going to proceed by, we have some questions here, and hopefully that the people out there that don't know things that are going on or upcoming, I think this will be a good time maybe to let everybody know some things. Okay, last year, excuse me, that was beautiful. Last year you had artists in residence, a potter and an illustrator. What about this year? Are you going to have anybody different? Are you?
Well, we're actually going to have our artist in residence back again this year. For a very innovative project, so it actually works out what we've talked about before. Rob Rossell is a tile guy, and we had our 3rd grade this year do ice cream bowls, create bowls, and it took almost the whole year, and it was wonderful. We had a great time. And this year, Rob's going to come back, and he's going to work with the entire school, every grade level, every kid, and everyone's going to make a tile to create a big tile mural for the center hallway at Pollard. It's a very expensive ordeal, but we're very excited. We're going to do a couple of fundraisers. We're going to do a Boston coffee cake fundraiser in October, and we're hoping that there's a couple of businesses, hopefully, that will help us out. We're also going to have an evening tile event where parents can come in with their kids and make a tile. And
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think we need something to get everyone together and make it a big, happy family, so to speak, a little bit even more so.
Like a team project.
Absolutely.
So if you're not the most talented or you are talented, it all goes into the project, and everybody will have their position on doing this, and it will be representing the school. Now, this is going to be in the hallway?
Yeah, we haven't come up with a final picture of what it's going to be, but what will happen is every child will be given a certain design that they have to create, and they will do it. And Rob is amazing. I am about as unartistic as they can be, and I made the coolest ice cream bowl ever. So I know that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, a lot of satisfaction. That's good for the kids too. It kind of keeps them away, gives them some diversion away from the everyday stress of trying to maintain your grades and do good in school. Because
absolutely.
Today there's a lot of pressure.
You talked about earlier about being a graduate, and it's just one other thing that anybody who leaves Pollard can come back and say, that's my tile.
Wow, yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that we want them to be proud and to remember Pollard even when they leave.
Well, that's kind of nice. They're leaving like a little legacy of
absolutely
their memories and years when they were young and free in Pollard School, and Michelle has been part of it too. Here's another one that I'd like to ask you. Are there any more highly qualified teacher threats like last year? Could you explain that? I didn't pick that up as...
Well, the state of New Hampshire, based on what the United States government has sort of given to us, has asked that all teachers be highly qualified. So either a teacher who has taught for 3 years in a certain subject area, is certified a certain way, is highly qualified. New teachers aren't. So in order to be highly qualified, they take a certain test, and that will help them sort of get over the hump and become highly qualified.
Okay.
At our district, the Timberlane district, we will not hire someone that isn't highly qualified unless they are in the middle of getting highly qualified.
So that, and I'm assuming what is this teacher threats? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're more accountable. In other words, you don't just go to school, get a degree, get a certification, and start teaching. Now we're really putting them right up there and saying, okay, you're responsible. You have to become highly qualified. You either have to take more classes, more experience, do something more, so we know we're getting the best teachers that we can.
Wow, that's wow. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and there's a lot of people out there that have degrees, but they don't know how to teach, I think.
Absolutely, I think there are
And you
some.
want the best for your...
Not at Pollard.
Right, you want the best.
Absolutely, we do.
Your staff, you want them to be the best team they can be, and you're very happy with that, and that's good. I mean, that's probably very important, especially for the 1 through 8. What's it, 1 through 4 at Pollard?
1 through 5 at Pollard.
1 through 5 at Pollard. So that's an important time for these kids too. So that's where they take off from. And
They
wherever
absolutely
end
do.
up. But that's great. Okay, so now I understand that. What kind of report cards? Like when I went to school, they had F and different ABCs and pass or fail. What kind of when a kid comes home from a report card from the 3rd grade and his parents looked at it, what do you how do you grade them?
It's a very good question because it's different now. This past year we piloted a new report card. I guess the best way to explain it is it's a standards-based report card. You definitely get behaviors, and you're marked on that, how well you behave in school, just like we always did.
Right.
You definitely get grades for the homework you do, but then we have another whole section that's standards, and it's the state standards that we have to be able to accomplish in math and science and reading, in writing, spelling, some other things. And so now we're making everyone more accountable, similar to the highly qualified teacher. So now parents can see, oh, a 4th grader should be able to do this, and my son isn't there yet. We need to work on that.
Okay, so they'll see that in that report card,
absolutely.
which is you haven't done that in the past.
This past year was our first year. It was a pilot.
Okay, and this year you're going to try to implement it again and see.
Absolutely.
And people liked it. Did you find?
Well, what we did was we did
parents?
some surveys. We did parent surveys in May, and we took all of their comments and tried to help and fix it up a little bit. The teachers surveyed, and the teachers now are working. We have a large committee of about 20 that are working on fixing it and condensing it a little bit. I think that was a big thing with parents. It was a lot of writing and stuff. So
just tweaking it this
exactly,
year, hopefully.
exactly.
But that's kind of nice because we never had that. I mean, it would have probably been beneficial a long time ago to do that. But today, as you said, it seems like you're much more proactive in behind the scenes as you are walking in there every day. It sounds like it's...
Well, it's almost like it all goes along with highly qualified, the kneecap test, the test that we do every year for accountability. It all ties together. So now it's sort of a neater package. And you can keep a closer
eye on each child and their progress and their deficiencies or something.
Yes,
like that.
I'm
I'm not.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct though.
Well, I happen to be one. Well, I happen to know a little about it, and Pollard School certainly is. I'm not that old, but years ago, I think I graduated from Pollard in 1960, and it was the greatest. It really the teachers, it never changed. They were just so helpful. The best school I ever went to, and I was from Haverhill. So what you're saying sounds like it's still going.
Right.
And it still takes pride in its
Timberlane,
students.
the Timberlane district is so involved in trying to be on that cutting edge. I don't know, I know recently I read an article that in technology we're definitely one of the best districts in New Hampshire.
Wow.
It's just, I think every day Doug is looking for something new, Dr. McDonald,
Yes.
for something new and better and different and something that's going to make our schools better. And
Yeah.
I think that's why.
I know as we get older, we don't understand why everything costs so much. But when I talk to you, it kind of comes together where I'm a selectman. I wonder what you're doing all that money. It's to get these kids the best education that you can possibly give them, and that's your legacy and what you're all about, and everybody that works for you. So that's just great.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. I know you're starting to freeze. What partnerships do you foresee? Astronomy, library? What do
Okay. We've got a couple of partnerships that we've done in the past. The PTA has really been part of the astronomy. They go out in sometime in the middle of October and go out to the farm there. Oh God, I can't think of the name of the farm.
In Plaistow?
Yeah,
Cox?
where the fruit and the
Goodrow.
flowers. Goodrow's farm.
There you go.
And there's a bunch of astrologists that go out and help. The children can look up at the moon and the stars, and there's people there to help them out. It's an amazing night. So we'll do that again. We're going to start a brand new partnership this year that I'm very excited about with a school in Hawaii. The high school, Scott Strange, has actually started that project, and we're going to be partnering with an elementary school, Kamehameha School in Hawaii, and we're going to be using our distance learning machines, computers, and everything
wow.
to talk back and forth with kids of our same age. So I'm very excited
Wow,
about that one.
geez. You know,
That's going to be neat.
Again, we're talking 1 through 5 at Pollard School. I'm kind of set back here a little over that type of activity or possibilities that the kids can, the doors this is going to
It's
open
amazing.
up for them.
The distance learning that we have
Yeah.
at Pollard, we had children creating puppets with museums, Indian artifacts. They've done so many different field trips where they actually talk and interact with people all over the United States, and Hawaii, we've already spoken with them a few times.
Hey.
It's great. The kids love it too.
Hey, any chance I can go to school again? I
You
mean,
can come visit when they come.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know, what would I talk to them about, you know? I mean, they're way ahead of me, but no, it's great. And I think the people, especially the people of Plaistow have children, are really will enjoy hearing what you have to say about where you're going with everything. Is in some places, but I don't know if in there, is there a dress code? And what about seasonal concerns? A dress code. I don't think there's a dress code, but you know, if I mean, they're 1 through 5, but kids dress, you know, with style, you know, what they see on TV. So maybe, you know, coming in looking like, you know, a rock star, would they be apt not to? Would that be a dress code situation?
There are dress codes, and there's a lot.
Okay.
If there's a
There
dress
was.
code at the high school, there's a dress code with the little kids, because it's not appropriate for a first grade and a fifth grader very differently. And if a fifth grader wears a certain revealing shirt, it's not appropriate. If a first grader does, it's cute. But in order to keep it the same, nobody should be able to wear that shirt, or nobody should be able to wear those shorts that are very, very high. I think the most important one, the one that upsets me the most when kids don't follow it, is the flip-flops. Because we do have a lot of stairs at Pollard. It's not like some of the other elementary schools that are one floor. So for safety, it's extremely important, because I've seen kids fall right down a whole set of stairs because they've slipped on their flip-flops.
So there's a liability and also a very dangerous because of that type of shoe, because probably when you was going to school, you basically wore a sneaker or a shoe.
Right.
And today, those are very popular, so the kids like to just...
And cool, and we don't have air conditioning when it's hot, but, you know, and then I would say on the other end, really important, they have to wear snow boots and snow pants when there's snow out and it's a certain degree, or they can't play in the snow. They have to stay on the
And
top.
that would be the seasonal.
Yeah, so that would be the
So
other end of
so
it.
you are not only educating them, you're trying to keep them in their age group and to know how to dress during the conditions. So if they don't come to school with the right clothes, they can't go out and play with the other children.
One of the things that I have to share, I just thought of this, we had a group of 4th grade and 5th grade kids give us a petition, Mr. Quinn, our assistant principal, and I, and they wanted to be able to wear shorts before a certain date and ride their bike before a certain date. And I didn't ever know the date. I guess someone must have made it up. It wasn't in writing anywhere. But I basically said, if it's warm enough, you can wear shorts, and if there's not snow on the ground and it's not raining, you can ride your bike. So we were able to do that. They communicated something that we weren't aware of. So we do try to listen, but I think it's great that the kids wrote up a petition. Everyone signed it, all official-like. But
really?
yeah.
So they're already getting into politics.
Oh, they
huh?
absolutely
well, yeah,
are.
life is politics.
Absolutely.
But that's good. You
Yeah.
set rules, and you're willing to listen, and if they get enough consensus, you could be moved over your decision as long as it's in goodwill for the families and the kids and making sure they don't
Right.
get
Now,
hurt.
obviously, I don't want kids wearing shorts in the middle of the winter time, and so I'm sure someone had a date just so they wouldn't, but I
Yeah.
think they can handle it
Yeah. So
with parents' help.
Well, parents are important, you know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And I think that's what you
Yeah.
network well down there. You do well at getting parents to go and, like other towns, they show up to have parent night and
They absolutely do.
PTA or whatever that was. That's a good thing. Well, that sounds great. So I'll be careful how I dress when I go to school over there. Okay, so I think there's another one which is kind of interesting. Is there a concern with coffee and sugar?
I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from, but I would tell you that I think in regards to food and drinks and stuff like that, the big concern is peanuts.
Peanuts?
Peanut allergies, that kind of stuff. We have many, and we have 504 plans with some children. We have a peanut-free table that they can sit at while they're eating lunch, and that table, there's never peanuts or peanut products.
Yeah.
So that's something that's
interesting.
sort of in the last 10 years is definitely coming out, and
And
I don't-
other
has-
schools
absolutely in
are
other
watching
schools.
this.
Yeah.
I know we did discuss about the fluffernutters, and again, we'll go back to that being said. That was because that's peanut butter and marshmallow.
Yeah.
Marshmallow.
And well, if somebody has a hot lunch, they don't have their money or whatever,
Yeah.
then the cafeteria program will give them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So they will get that. So obviously, if there's somebody that has a peanut allergy, we have to have cheese or something else to give them. So there's all kinds of little things to think about.
That's more or less medical and similar to medicine and things that you probably, that's another area, but I'm sure it's all built around you. Got to know a little about the students, what their allergies are and everything, because how would you determine that they had a peanut problem until they got sick and then you found out they had a peanut problem? But you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and bee sting allergies there's
So
lots of stuff. Yeah.
You also,
We
in
have
your
lists.
travels, keep an eye on the...
Yeah, we have lists and we always check them, make
Oh,
sure we're all
that's-
set.
and I'm a peanut butter lover, so I don't have any allergies, so I'll be all right.
Thank God, right?
Yes. I know, I love peanut butter. I know this is kind of a funny question, but in today's world where everything's moving faster than a speeding bullet, cell phones, are they permitted? I mean, where some kids, probably fourth grade and fifth grade, by all means, want to keep contact with their families because of trying to make sure they don't get lost in a shuffle getting home or whatever. But I guess the thing is, are cell phones permitted? Now, I don't know if that means permitted in school. I mean, I'm sure whatever they do out of school. But
I would say that if a kid has a cell phone, it needs to stay in the bag off while they're at school. And we have had quite a few phone calls in regards to that, parents wanting to know. We had a phone that kept going off that we had to confiscate from a kid and the parent didn't even know he had it, kind of thing. So definitely, more so that just like video games, they'll be playing games on their phone instead of doing what they should be doing. So it's just like electronic games.
Yeah.
You know how there's so many things.
yeah, I can't even
so no
imagine
phones.
it, but I don't mean to be antiquated here, but it's just fascinating.
It's
when
so different.
Yeah,
It's
well,
very different.
and it's nice to hear you say things like that, because now I'm learning more about what goes on from 1 to 5. I figured they go to school, they have a good time, they go home, they color, so, but it looks like a lot of work.
Oh, no.
It looks like you'll be busy this year. Okay, so we know that they can come into school, but there's going to be a certain right and rule, and you work with each student that might want to take one.
It's best just to leave it in the bag if it's something after school they need to do. And we have phones in the office, so they can call in every classroom, too.
Here's one that I thought maybe fitted me and what I remembered about the school when I went there, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but, I always try to get my lines in here, but playing tag at recess has become an issue for locals. No, an issue in some, what's this, localities?
In some locales.
Okay,
yeah.
Some locales. Is it safe? To me, it's an odd question, but it was put to me.
It's actually, there's many schools that do not let their kids play tag. The school that I just came from in Merrimack, we did not let the kids play tag. I guess how I would answer that is, it hasn't been an issue at Pollard, and I'm really excited because this year we're going to have a PE teacher from Danville for an entire afternoon during that lunch recess time for grades 1 through 5 that's going to come and show kids how to play organized games, give them the rules, how to pick teams, really help them use the playground the way it should be used. And I think that is amazing because you'd be surprised to see how many kids don't know how to swing or don't do it appropriately and don't know when it's someone else's turn or use the jungle gyms that we have or whatever.
Etiquette on the,
yeah, exactly.
on the ball field.
And so there'll be, our duty teachers can do that to a point, but we're going to have an adult showing them how to play kickball, the best ways to pick teams and things that many kids need to know. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, I think that when you really think about it, when you were growing up, you're not playing tag, but the boys are. That's usually the routine, and then they might run by you and hit you or knock you over, and yeah. That's the thing you worry about. It gets, it's not probably a good thing when I think about the things that used to go on, but to get the kids now to use that in a better form of enjoyment, and it still gives them all the fun and running, and it just keeps the safety issue, because one kid gets hurt, you're standing there wondering, it was an accident, but that's what playing tag and rushing around does. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, what's the status of standardized testing? Are there any changes coming up?
Well, that's the kneecap that I talked about.
Which was the first?
And it used to be, we used to just, in the state of New Hampshire, test 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Now we test 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then 10th grade. So in October, pretty much Pollard School will come to a halt, until the Halloween parade, of course.
Oh, wow.
But we'll come to a halt, and for 3 full weeks we're testing 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, at least during the morning time. So it's tough, so that's a hard thing, but last year was our first year and we got through it, and I think we'll be doing a little better every year.
Did you say last year was the first time you did this?
Last year we did it usually it's been 3rd grade for quite a while,
right.
And now it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
Okay, so there's a lot more activity in that area now because it's important to give these kids that extra boost in their grades and keeping them.
And now you can actually follow one class. Before we only had data for 3rd grade, and it was a new 3rd grade every year. So the testing was the data wasn't really good. And so now we can actually follow that 3rd grade to the 4th grade to the 5th grade and see if they are making growth.
Is this a state?
Yes.
Some of these things are coming from the state and they're working. Do all grammar school?
Yes.
So this is?
This is federal.
Okay, so that means that most schools are doing this.
Right.
And it's different.
Unless they're private, they're doing it.
Okay, right. Tell us about your emergency planning and drills. In other words, give me a scenario of what that means.
Well, in the springtime, we did a full school evacuation, so I'm sure there was plenty of people that are watching that got stuck waiting for us to go by. And what we did was our entire Pollard school went to the fire department, and we went into each bay. They had 5 bays, or actually they had 6 bays, so every grade had their own bay to sit sort of and wait.
Yeah.
And that's going to be sort of our holding place. So let's say there was a chemical spill or a fire and the kids needed to evacuate quickly. We could quickly go down the road. We had police and fire helping during that. We are planning on doing a full evacuation where we actually go all the way to Holy Angels, which is our final destination. But that's a bus thing, and
Yeah.
it's almost a whole day thing in order to do that. So the kids did a wonderful job, and I think the fire department was absolutely amazed at how quiet they were, and they quickly got in, sat down, left, came back, and
they learn the responsibilities and how to handle a crisis altogether, and that's
right.
what you want 'em.
Well, we actually do 10 drills every year. We're required to, by the state, to do at least 10. You know, we do the basic fire drill, then we do not using the hallways, going through the sides. We go down, stop, drop, and roll. There's so many different
Yeah.
variations, so the teachers have them all, and they go over them with the kids. I actually went on the intercom and sort of walked them through leaving, because that's kind of scary for some kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they've never, you know, that's a very awkward age that things change. You know, you're
Right.
home, and now all of a sudden the first grade's one thing, the second grade, and then you realize that these plans are implemented, you know, safety, even at home. People should have
Absolutely,
a safety.
they should.
Safety plans, go through it once a month, just talk to the kids. If it's only 20 minutes, at least they got an idea that you're constantly going through the seasons and making sure that they know what to do. And so the school is certainly doing that.
We're
Good.
trying.
Well, it gives you something to do in your spare time too, you know. Could you tell us about the Invention Convention? So I assume it's a scientific.
Yeah, it is. It's actually quite an amazing thing. This year, Pollard asked every child 1st through 5th grade to come up with an invention. And every child came in, they built things. I mean, I'm talking toothbrush holder with toothpaste and lots of bathroom kind of things, feeding your dog kind of inventions or whatever.
Cute, huh?
And then we had judges, and we picked so many winners
Oh.
at each grade level. And they went to the state, and we actually, from that group, had, I believe it was 7 children get some type of an award at the state level
Wow.
for their inventions. So it was amazing. We went in at night, and parents came, and we went through, and it was amazing,
Yeah.
the kids' inventions and some of the things that they did.
Now, do you have this convention when the kids do everything? I mean, I know parents are important, but can the public come in any night or certain time?
Oh yeah, we had it out there
to show the
look.
kids. We used to do that when I was younger. We had that science day, and all the parents and people would stop by and would do it out on the front lawn in front of the Pollard School.
that's kinda
and,
cool.
Yeah, and there we did different ideas. I did a volcano, and you know, it would erupt, and you know. So, but it sounds much more advanced, a better program. But it was like that idea. That's great.
Oh, I mean, like we have such a diverse group of activities that for the kids in the 1st grade, really simple activities, but the parents helped, and then the 5th grade, I don't understand some of them that went through. I was like, how did you do that? So I mean, every level had their own inventions, and it was amazing. And you know, parents were nervous at first, like I don't have the time and invention, but it worked out well, and I think they realized that it's
that they
not
have
hard.
more talent. And
Oh
that-
yeah, kids have a lot of great
It
ideas.
might help them a little, but you know, just to see them get into a
Get 'em
project
going,
and be
proud,
proud of
yeah.
it. You know, I mean, it all dovetails into the total education of a child. I imagine every little thing. That sounds good. I hope to see that maybe. And what will the Pollard Players put on this year?
Well, I can't tell you that
Oh.
because it's a big secret. The kids.
Wrong place, huh?
It's no, that's definitely. It's one of those things where we get the kids all hyped up, and Diane Sherman, our enrichment teacher who does the play, will get them going, and they'll find out all together as a school what it'll be, and then they can try out for things. So
Oh.
it's a good one though.
Yeah.
It's a good. I can't tell you.
Yeah, yeah. You always so. Well, I think people like surprises. Now, is that public invited too?
Oh yeah, and it was absolutely, it amazed me how talented the kids were this last year. We actually went to the PAC Center, and
How do you advertise? I mean, just the fact that now here you are on the cable with me, but how do you get to the people in town? through a bulletin board out front, you know, like
Yeah, I guess for the general public, the bulletin board, we do put it on our website, and for parents, I do something called the Pollard Pen, which is a newsletter that everybody gets, and that will have all the important dates with things like that.
Okay.
But there's a couple of, you can go
Yeah.
online, but if you don't have a kid at Pollard, you wouldn't go on the Pollard
But
site.
the parents, the relatives of
Right,
the kid, everybody,
right.
I mean, there'll be certainly enough people there to have something, but I know I
Yeah.
don't have children in the Pollard school, but I would certainly love to see I love to see what the kids come up with, because that's the age group I always
Yeah, it's
thought.
right out there on the board. When you see it on the board, you're allowed to come.
Well, I'll take that and maybe run with it. So that's all a secret. So what field trips do you plan on having this year? Is that a secret?
It's not a secret, but it does change quite a bit.
Right.
It has to be part of the curriculum, and Kristen Pereira, our curriculum coordinator, works with the teachers in regards to that. There's some typical places that they like to go, and others that they change, so it's really up in the air depending on the grade and
Yeah.
the teacher and whatever.
So there will be field trips this year,
Yep.
and they're going to be they're planned, but there might be some changes and
Right.
some new ideas that come up during the year. So
Because
hopefully,
if you keep it in stone, then something wonderful comes and you can't go. So, and that happens all the time.
the
You get
door
those
open.
mailings, exactly.
very
But we'll
good.
be going to the
I
PAC.
like that. No,
We
yeah.
go to the PAC a
That's
lot. The
nice.
high school kids do things and invite us. So.
They like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the, and this is interesting because this is probably where you need help. What are the opportunities and requirements for volunteering for Pollard School? Or
I think the most important requirement that they want to help. And it doesn't really matter the time that they can give, whether it's an hour or after school or at nighttime. Teachers use volunteers in their classroom. Sometimes they work with children one-on-one or in a small group. Sometimes they're in the office copying things. Sometimes they're at home creating something for a bulletin
Yeah.
board or cutting a bunch of things out
Yeah.
that they need to cut out. There's so many different things, and
Lovely.
we welcome any. We have 3 or 4 grandparents that come in and volunteer on a regular basis.
Yeah,
as
and they
well.
like it too. I know there's a lot of people that I know that they've worked with the kids over at Pollard School. I don't know if they still do, but they enjoy it. So volunteers are always needed because as the kids go to the middle school,
Mhm.
you kind of lose them because they go up there,
Yeah,
the parents and
Yeah.
the helpers. So
exactly.
volunteerism is, you're telling everybody out there, please, come down and see you and talk to you, and we'll find a place for you, and you'll probably
Absolutely.
enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if they don't have any kids and they want to come help, they can come to the office and we'll find a job for them. So
Well, that's pretty nice.
we won't turn them away.
That's good, all the help, but they do help you, though.
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
What are the innovative projects and incentives are taking place in the classes? In other words, the projects, apparently, whenever they do them, is there incentives? Is that what that's telling me there?
Well, I don't
In
know.
other
I
words,
think-
am I reading
Yeah,
that?
the innovative projects and stuff.
Yeah.
I think in the classrooms, the teachers really have license to go different ways, and many of them go many different ways. We had postcards coming from all the different states from first grade classrooms, and in 4th grade, they actually did a more organized Great Mail Race, I believe is what it was called. They, like I talked about earlier, the TV, oh, I just lost it. The video conferencing that the kids do, every grade level can be part of that, and they do field
Okay.
trips and distance learning. They do field trips where they get to stay in the class and go somewhere else and see and talk with people and use the computers in so many different ways than we never could have even imagined even 5 years ago. But it really is dependent on the teachers, and I think the Hawaiian thing that we have going
be
this year is going to even be
Something
more
special.
innovative. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's what you want. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I see you lighten up every time you're speaking, and I can tell you, I can feel it, that you really enjoy, and you're very proud of this next coming year.
Oh, absolutely.
and
I'm
what-
excited, and I
I
think
think-
the kids are going to love the Hawaiian stuff. They're gonna love the tiles. I just want them to not only learn, you got to learn, but you can have fun learning, and it can be a good experience.
Yes.
And I want them to think back at Pollard like you do and have a smile on their face and not like,
Tremendous.
oh, I hated that school. I want them to really enjoy themselves and
It's a great
be part of the
experience.
school.
I know everybody now goes to college and everything. I went to a vocational school after Pollard, but some of my greatest years and memories are at Pollard. Matter of fact, we had a Pollard reunion a while back, 1960. That was kind of neat. A lot of the kids that I went to school with at Pollard. So, again, it's very important that you know that the children will, and I hear this everywhere, and I think you probably heard it too. When the kids finally graduate from Pollard, they don't want to go because they enjoyed it so much. They're afraid to go anywhere else because it's been
Right.
such a great learning, and they're comfortable with the teachers and the principal, and it's one of the better schools that I think that anybody would want to send their children to.
Well, I
And
say
it's
thank you to that, because
proud
I
name.
agree with you as well.
Okay. I'm trying to get back to school. Everybody knows that now, right? They say, why don't you take him back? He needs it. He certainly ain't doing too good as a selectman. This, maybe you could help me. This,
Nah, you don't have to go there.
no, okay.
Yeah.
You helped me out on that one. How have you enjoyed your experience in Plaistow, which I think is probably, you've got 1 year. I know we wanted to get you on the show and it's not about us, it's about the school and what you do there. What was your experience?
I had the best year of my entire educational career. So I've been teaching been in education for 23 years, and I had my
Wow.
best year.
Really?
I absolutely love Pollard. I love the people, the families. It was a wonderful experience. I felt very welcomed by everybody. I think it took a little while to get to know everyone and their names. There's so many kids and parents, and I'm still working on the kid thing. It's difficult.
it's a
I
big,
figured by the time first grade gets up there, I'll get their names. But
Oh, yeah.
it was a wonderful year, and I'm hoping there'll be many more to come.
Yeah, and I think there will be, and I think everybody's I can see why everybody wants to go to Pollard School now. What are the major changes that have taken place this summer at Pollard, like from last year to this year? I'm assuming that, is there anything going on?
There are
Any
so
big
many
changes?
things going on
You want
this
to go
year.
over some of them?
Really quick, I can tell you a couple of things. Kids are going to be, even fourth and fifth graders won't know what's going on because we've moved almost every staff member to a different classroom, different area. So that's been great. It helps teachers purge some stuff. We also have lost and gained some programs at the district level.
Yeah.
Pollard was the home for our emotionally handicapped and our autistic children, and for the entire district. And now the emotionally handicapped children at the fourth and fifth grade level are going to go to Sandown Central. And our autistic kids are going to split. If they live in Danville or Sandown, then they will be going to Danville for the program. And if they live in Atkinson or Plaistow, they'll go to Pollard. So we've split that. So that's different. We'll lose some kids, and that was sad.
Yeah.
But I think it will take a little bit of the burden off of Pollard to some degree. And then we have, we lost some of those kids, but we have gained 2 more classes of TLC.
Wow.
Our preschool and kindergarten programs, we have always had 2, but now we're going to have 4 this year.
Wow.
Danville friends are coming back to Pollard. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice, simple year for you, huh? It sounds like you're really looking forward to this upcoming season or school season. And I'm running out of, I don't have any more questions unless you've got anything you might want to say to the people out there that maybe any ideas of anything special you can think of that you might want to tell anybody
I would-
about this coming year?
I would just say that, please come into the school, come and visit, check us out. And in the beginning of November, I want to say it's November 3rd, is going to be our evening tile event. And come out and check that out as well. It's a family kind of thing, so even if
I'll try
it's
to.
not a Pollard, you should.
Yeah,
We're
well,
actually thinking about trying to get the businesses and stuff in Plaistow to be involved as well,
Yeah.
because I think it would even be better
Yes.
that way. But so I would just say, come check us out, come see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, I can tell you right now, I think Bob, the coordinator here, and I will be showing up on the first day of school just to get into some of those programs.
Good, you can help with duty with buses, it'll
Oh,
be great.
I
yeah.
love, I just, I'm so happy to have had you and to talk to you. To me, I could talk to you all night, but I can see somebody going, you got to get going. And I just want to tell you it's a pleasure, and I'm quite surprised with some of the stuff you told me about how you plan on making the school even better than it's been, and that's always been an improvement. Everybody is, and you're coming in with your ideas and your enthusiasm, and really glad to have you. And if you ever want to come back to cable and you need anything to help out, you can call me or anything, and I'll help you out. So
Great.
hopefully I'll get to know you.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you very much. Well, that's Michelle Auger.
Yeah, you
I
did
got it, right?
Yeah,
I
you
was
got
going to
it.
use Auger this time. But just want to tell you, if you do get time and when the school starts, there's plenty of programs down there. The public is welcome. You can come down and see where your tax dollars are going and how our kids are doing. And it's pretty special, and we're very glad that we got Michelle, who is kind of a local girl, now our principal, which I'm surprised, because I always remembered principals being these big, tough, older guys, but you certainly have changed my thought. And I would be a pleasure to go back there with you. And I want to tell everybody in Plaistow that I appreciate them, and hopefully they watch this, and if they got any questions, Michelle will be in school in about a month, and please drop by her office and talk to her, or anything you have, she'd be willing to help you. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.